Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. You're listening to another video for League of Legends, this one featuring Ahri. This is taken from another one of our Tuesday YouTube night events. So in this game I'm going to be playing Ahri for one of the first times. I think I played her in a couple bot games before this, but haven't actually played her against other humans before. Alongside me is a Ponecat playing as Leona, Varus Nox playing as Talon, a Sullla playing as Trundle, and a Tamuskor playing as Poppy. Then on the other team, on the purple side of the map, we have Eoglu playing as Morgana, All the Master playing as Gragas, Andrew CH playing as Malphite, Archville26 playing as Cogmill, and Belim playing as Janna. And I do want to give special props to Andrew CH, who has the best skin in the entire game. That's right, it's Shamrock Malphite. He's a giant rock monster, and he is bright glowing green. Anyway, this is a sort of a private joke amongst me and some of my friends that Shamrock Malphite is one of the ugliest skins in the game, and for that reason, really enjoy that one. It is discontinued now, though, so unfortunately you cannot still buy it in the store. Anyway, it's been an exciting week for League of Legends. All throughout this week, there's been a huge tournament going on at IEM Hanover until Extreme Masters Championship for their current season, which I believe was Season 6. So that just came to an end on this past weekend. Moscow 5, the European powerhouse, did end up winning the tournament. Had some pretty good matches throughout. Moscow 5, extremely impressive in all the going throughout that game. All throughout this tournament, they actually did go 9-0 throughout the tournament and had some very, very impressive matches. So if you want to check out those matches, they are linked through the League of Legends official website. You can find links to all the stuff there. If you just look through the news, there's all sorts of stuff pointing you there. So feel free to go check out some of those matches. They were pretty good, and I had a lot of fun watching them. I did do some wrap-up stuff talking about each day of competition. Some people really enjoyed that. I know some people also wish that I were just doing standard videos instead of spending my time doing them, but no fear, I am back to doing some of my normal stuff. I just decided that I would wait and do this Ahri video until after the tournament was over in Hanover so that I would have the time to do it. Couldn't really do a recap every single day of the League of Legends games and also record new commentary stuff. But anyway, here we go, and in this game, I'm going to talk about Ahri as a champion. I have actually had several specific requests from Ahri. Several different people, I think 2 or 3 different people have sent me private messages and specifically requested doing a video on Ahri. It seems as though people want to hear a little bit more about her. And again, thanks to having some money left over after the donations from the when people donated to support the live stream, I was able to use some of the extra money that was left over from that to purchase some of the champs I didn't own, and Ahri was indeed one of them. I've actually wanted to own her for quite some time, but I just did not have the IP or the RP in order to pick up Ahri. Anyway, I accidentally messed up the leash here on Wolves. The reason for that was I had played Morgana in her previous game, and I had my Q skill, my Orb of Deception, Ahri's Q skill. It was set to Smartcast because I had played Morgana in like 2 games previously, and I had forgotten to turn off the Smartcast. So I was planning to just, hover over the wolves with my Q, and then since it was Smartcasted, I ended up hitting it, and that's why the leash got messed up there. Okay, anyway, so Ahri, just a quick overview of her as a champion. She is played as an AP caster. I've heard that sometimes in Europe they play her as like a tanky bruiser type top champion, but that's very unorthodox. She's pretty much played as a mid champion, standard ability power caster. She is pretty squishy as a champion. She's certainly not meant to be played as sort of a tanky bruiser or anything like that. So she's very fragile. Her advantages are she's very good at poking, and she has extremely good mobility once she gets her ultimate at level 6. So she has great mobility in team fights with her ult. She pokes quite well, and her E skill, her charm, is one of the more unique skills in the game. Can be just devastating if you catch someone out on it. But like I said, her weaknesses are she's very easily bursted down and killed if she gets caught out of position, and she doesn't have sort of the raw damage of some of the other mages because her skills are not really as much area of effect as some others. Anyway, I did get in some nice harassment on Eoglu, and I am playing against him in mid. I should go through the lanes real quickly. Tamuskor's Poppy is against All the Masters Gragas up here on top. I'm against Eoglu's Morgana in mid. In our bottom lane, we have Talon Leona, Varus Nox playing Talon, a Ponecat on Leona, against a more standard Cog Janna lane, Archville playing as Cogmaw, and Belim playing as Janna. Then we have a Sullla jungling as Trundle, and they have that lovely Shamrock Malphite being jungled by Andrew CH right there. Okay, Ahri's skills, I'll just run through them relatively quickly. Her passive gives her free spell vamp after every 9 charges. She gets extra spell vamp. Oh, right here, well, I'll get to that in a minute. I am getting ganked here by Shamrock Malphite, and that is trouble because I walk into that dark binding, which is pretty poor on my part. I'm going to flash over the wall. A Sullla comes in here. He also has double buff on the jungle. And we are pretty much just going to have to disengage in this fight. We're a little bit low. However, if I can hit on my charm, but nope. Unfortunately, a minion walks down there and eats the charm, so it's not going to be enough to hit Andrew CH right there. I think if I had hit that charm, maybe I could have done something, but was hit by the minion instead, so oh well. The end result is I get out of that, but I did take a bit of damage. I did run through a lot of my mana, and I had to burn my flash. So I'm going to have to play more conservatively here in the lane while my flash is down. So that gank worked out pretty well. I really should have been able to get out of that without burning my flash, but the key problem was Eaglo's Morgana hit a Dark Binding on me while that was going on. I probably should have been able to juke the Dark Binding. Anyway, I have a narrow lead in farm here, 25 minion kills to 19, doing a pretty good job of farming just with my auto attack mostly. Now, I wanted to get back to what Ahri's skills do. So again, as I was saying, her passive gives her Spell Vamp. She can get up to 3 charges per spell if she hits multiple enemies, and when you get to 9 charges, her next spell has 35% Spell Vamp. So this is a pretty nice passive, gives her extra sustain in lane, and most people usually take advantage of this by building a Hextech Revolver and turning it into a Will of the Ancients eventually onto Ahri, and I will be doing that in this game as well, just because it really helps her with lane sustain, synergizes nicely with their passive. Actually kind of similar to Morgana's passive, since Morgana gets innate Spell Vamp as well. Okay, anyway, so that's her passive. Now, her most common skill is her Q skill, and this is the one that I'm skilling first. So I put a point in this at level 1, and I'm skilling it at 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Sends out an orb, deals magic damage on the way out, and then deals true damage on the way back. So it's a skill shot, but it's just a straight line skill shot. See, there it is. Decent range, I wouldn't say exceptional. Relatively easy to dodge, but you'd be surprised. If you get up close to somebody, it can be tough for them to dodge it. A nice farming tool as well, relatively easy to farm with this. Deals a really nice poking damage. See, there it is. By the way, since I hit 3 targets, notice that now I get Spell Vamp on my next spell cast. So what I'm going to want to do with my next spell cast is hit a lot of minions at once, so I can get extra Spell Vamp back. Anyway, this is a strong skill. It's really a pretty good skill, and like I said, it's the one I'm going to max first. Just a straight line nuke skill shot. You can hit a lot of targets with it if the enemy team is real bunched up, but it is a skill shot. So anyway, that's her Q. Her W is the next skill I'm going to give skilling priority to. This is her Foxfire skill. Ahri releases 3 Foxfires. After a short delay, they lock on to nearby targets. There it is. There, I'm using my Foxfire right there. And deals magic damage, and if you hit the same target more than once, deals less damage. Does prioritize champions over minions. The interesting about this skill is you don't actually aim it, so it's a little bit like Sona's skills. It reminds me a little bit of like Sona's Q. Right there, I get some nice poke with Ahri's orb. A little bit like Sona's Q skill in that you don't aim this skill at all. You just hit W, and then after a very short delay, it just hits targets for you. So like you don't really do anything. You just press W, and that took me a little bit of time to get used to when I first started playing Ahri. Of course, I have all the mastery of like 3 games with Ahri, so take that for what it's worth. But it's just a skill that when if you're near somebody, if you're in close combat, then you just hit W, and then after a short delay, the Foxfire will go ahead and hit the enemy champions pretty much for you. You don't really have to do anything. So the downside, the range is pretty short. There it is right there. Again, you can't pick which target it hits either, but it does prioritize champions. So again, pretty much just a short range skill, and the damage on that is quite high actually. The damage is pretty good on this skill, but I'm going to max it second. So I'm going to put a point in this in level 2 and then give it second skilling priority after Ahri's Q skill. Now her E is a 1-point skill. This is her charm. This is a great skill. It's another skill shot, straight line skill shot right there. So again, it's quite similar to the Orb of Deception. If I hover over the skills, notice how they're almost identical. The charm is a little bit further. The range is a little bit further, but it's also narrower, so it's sort of not as fat of a targeting circle, if that makes sense. Anyway, it goes out in a straight line, charms the first enemy it hits, causes them to walk harmlessly towards her for 1 second. So it's basically like a taunt, but it's a taunt that repositions the enemy. So it's quite an interesting spell. If you can hit somebody with this and force them to walk towards you, you can really screw people up. So again, this is why she's so good at poking. Toss out your Orb of Deception, allows you to poke towards them, and if you can catch people out on a charm, you can just do very, very mean, nasty, evil stuff to people. So that's really what makes Ahri's skill set work. Again, she pokes with her Q, she tries to catch you with her E. If they do get close to you, you use her W. And then her ultimate she uses for repositioning. So her ultimate, Spirit Rush here, Ahri dashes forward, fires Essence Bolts at 3 nearby enemies. Again, like Firefox, it's basically the same as Firefox. You don't aim it consciously, just hits nearby champions. And it can be cast up to 3 times. Each time you use it, it's a blink. Now, unfortunately, right here, where the Golem reset right there, which is a little bit off, Ursula needed to tank that just slightly longer. So this is a little bit of a mistake, and I'm having to waste a lot of time here. So we could have done this a little bit better. Anyway, Spirit Rush is the other thing that really makes Ahri's kit work. It's 3 blinks that you can use to dash around, deals damage, basically releases Foxfire as you dash around. Amazingly good at repositioning in team fights because you can use it up to 3 times. Again, the range is not great, but it's basically like getting 3 flashes in a team fight. So you can really get yourself out of a lot of bad situations. It also makes Ahri very resistant to ganks in middle lane. As long as her ult's up, it's very hard for someone to gank her just because all she has to do is pop her Spirit Rush. She can just dash right on out. So a little bit like a Kassadin blink, but I mean, it's a skill that deals damage, and you can also use it in very rapid succession. I believe there's only a delay of about 1 to 2 seconds between each time you can use it. It doesn't say right here, but it's not a very long delay at all. You can use it quite a bit. So anyway, that's what makes her kit work. Her ult gives her the mobility. She can run around from location to location. Again, she tries to catch people out with her charm. She pokes with her Q, her orb, and then her W is her Foxfire. So right here, I'm able to dodge the Dark Binding. I juke the Dark Binding. I do hit Ayaglo's Morgana with my charm, but not able to go into anything. I was trying to steal Wraiths there, but apparently they had that warded, or Ayaglo saw me go up there, and with Malphite being right there, I have to be a little bit more careful. But now that I have blue, I can really start to spam. I've been using my skills a little bit conservatively because I didn't want to run out of mana before, but with my blue buff, I can spam, and I've also gone and picked up a Hextech Revolver, so I have a lot of Spell Vamp right now, and that means that I can sustain very, very well in this lane right now. And I'm just going to try to poke away at Ayaglo. I hit him with one of the 2 tosses of the orb right there. And Andrew is still right here. He's actually been mid a couple times. I think that's like the 2nd time he's been mid. But like right there, see the poke? That's the strength of Ahri right there. I was able to poke, and now I'm going to use my Foxfire to farm these minions. Q's already off of cooldown. And again, I'm just going to try to hit Ayaglo whenever possible. Just try to catch him with that poke right there. Of course, he's spell vamping up. He also has blue. He's also spell vamping up with his Tormented Soil, and going to be a little bit difficult to catch him as that charm misses. But right there, double hit on that orb, and again, if you can get the double hit, it deals a lot of damage. Anyway, Andrew's still right here, still trying to camp me, but I'm not really that concerned. Could just walk right out of that one, and really wasn't that big a deal. So it looks like he's going to go up there, and he's still hanging around right here. But as long as I have vision on him, I'm not too concerned. And in fact, it looks like right now he's going up the top lane. So at this point, I've got the ward over here. I have decent ward coverage. I'm relatively safe from ganks in mid, and I'm actually going to ping that right there. And that was a suggestion. I was trying to let the team know. Oh. Right there, I was able to catch Ayaglo with a double hit right then again and get in more damage. So I've got him low, and at this point, like right now, if I can catch him with one more charm, he's going to die. So I'm just looking for that right now. I'm like, okay, I need to try to hit my E. If I can hit on an E, that's going to be a kill right here because he's low. He's only on 500 health. He's quite low. There it is, and there it is. I catch the charm, so I'm going to use my ult. I'm going to dash in. There's one dash, and I've got one more. So there we go. Going to get out of there. I just, when I hit that charm, dash in with my ultimate, use my Q, use my Foxfire, and then use the last 2 procs of the ult to dash out. And I still had flash up. Didn't need to use Ignite there, so that went pretty well. And then another little minor note, I knew that Andrew was up in this part of the jungle right there, so if you notice when I ran back to my jungle, I hugged the right side of the lane because I had the ward and I knew he was in the top part of his jungle. So I ran back here on the right side of the lane because it was the safer side. And then I went ahead and took Wraiths because Sullla wasn't taking them. So that whole play went really well, and I'm in pretty comfortable shape right now. I'm going to grab a Doran's Ring and grab the Sorcerer's Shoes, and I'm just very, very happy with where I am in the game right now. 82 minion kills, solid. I mean, it could be higher, but this is not bad at all for the 12-minute mark in the game. 82 minion kills, 1 champion kill, basically tied with Varus for the most farm right now in the game. And Ayaglo he's doing quite well. The 61 is not that bad. It's a little bit below where he could be, but certainly not that bad. And I'm pretty far out in front, but I am still pretty far out in front in this lane. I still do have a pretty sizable lead right here. So I'm in pretty good shape overall. Now, a little bit about building Ahri. What most people do is they go for an early Hextech Revolver, not necessarily as the first item. Usually people will go for two Doran's Rings on their first trip back, but I had enough to just go straight for the Hextech, so I decided to go for it. So usually get two Doran's Rings, pick up a Hextech Revolver, and then people either go for a Death Cap or a Rylai's after that. And I'll say more about that in a minute, but here we have a little bit of a team fight here, so I'm going to go in and engage, and at this point I was like, uh-oh, I need to be careful about not getting engaged upon. So I've used 2 procs my ult. Right here, I'm going to go after Malphite. He's going to flash over the wall. Really have not used my skill shots all that well, but the Orb of Deception is going to get one kill right there. I do get stunned by Ayaglo, which again, not the best. Right here, I'm going to use my Ignite, and unfortunately I missed my orb there, at the end. So Eaglo is just barely going to run out on about 20 to 30 health right there. Not a whole lot left. So we end up going 1 for 1 there. I feel like I could have used my skills significantly better in that fight. But our goal all along was to try to get this blue buff. We wanted to try to deny it to their team. We didn't want Morgana to get that. So we're going to try to take this for me right here. And right there, I actually am going to take the blue. So that's a really key play in this game. The fact that I am going to get my blue right here and their mid is not going to get the blue. Pretty big deal overall, and it's something that if you watch the competitive teams, blue denial is just a huge factor at the competitive level in League of Legends. So that was us trying to be real clever there and try to take away their blue buff, and it did work. I mean, we did go 1 for 1 in the fight, but I mean, we got their blue buff, so that was kind of a victory right here. So the key thing for me right now is, don't get killed, don't give this blue buff back to the enemy team, just keep spamming my stuff. Oh, and by the way, you can use your charm on minions. It doesn't deal. This skill does very little damage, but you can use it to farm as well. Didn't have enough damage to finish that one off. So anyway, right here comes Malphite, and I'm like, okay, my ult is not up, my flash is not up, so this is a little bit troublesome. Need to try to get out of here, but I make a mistake, and look at this. Oh, right into the Dark Binding, and that is the power of Shamrock Malphite right there, as they finish me off. So yeah, Shamrock Malphite, just too OP right there. Anyway, the biggest issue right there was just the way that I walked. If you notice, Malphite did initiate on me. He was able to get a nice initiation with his ultimate, but Varus pointed out during the game, and I noticed afterwards when I went and watched this, instead of running this way, if I had just run down the river this way, I could have linked up with the rest of the team, and I should have almost certainly could have gotten out of there. Really, the issue was getting hit by that Dark Binding was the biggest problem right there. Anyway, there is a little bit of a skirmish in bottom lane, but doesn't look like it's going to lead to a kill. So yeah, really the problem there was, I mean, getting engaged upon by Malphite, okay, that can happen. I could have avoided that if I'd had a ward up here. And again, my ward was here, but it died. I really should have replaced that ward. I actually had a ward in my inventory, but I didn't place it up there. And then I needed to avoid the Dark Binding. That was really the issue there. Now, the other problem is I've gone and given that blue buff right back to Eaglo, so now he has a blue and I don't have a blue. And, like, that's what makes that really hurt. Not only does he get a kill up on me, but now he has a blue buff to play around with. So, I mean, that's really an issue right there. And, of course, Sullla has taken our blue because I had their blue. And, he didn't need to save it. So, a big mistake there, a really big mistake that I should not have made, and it's something you need to try to avoid doing. Really just needed to avoid the Dark Binding and should have just run down the river instead of, walking back to my tower and getting hit by the Dark Binding. Anyway, I would have avoided that if Flash had been up. I would have survived. If my ult had been up, I also would have survived. But hey, they weren't up, and I probably should have just been playing more cautiously. When your Flash is down, if you have a mobility skill like Ahri's ultimate, when that's down, you just play more cautiously while those things are on cooldown. So that's something that I needed to do in this game. And like I said, it was just a mistake. Not a game-crippling mistake, but just the sort of thing you want to avoid. One of the best ways to win at this game is just avoid making mistakes. Usually the team that makes the least mistakes is the one that ends up winning. Okay, anyway though, I did have enough gold to finish that Will of the Ancients. I'm going to reward right here. Now, why do you ward this spot? Well, it's a great spot to ward because you can see a lot of jungle ganks coming from the river. If you have a ward here, and then you have a ward here, it's really difficult for them to come and gank you mid, because if they try to come down through this angle, then, oh, by the way, I did get binded by Morgana here, and that was some nice damage by Eaglo, but I have a ton of spell vamp, and I should be okay to just heal up off of that. Yeah, if you have a ward here, you can see if they come out this way from the jungle, and if you have a ward right here, you can see if they can come out this way from the jungle. So it's really hard for them to gank you, and plus it also clears you to go and take their wraiths when they're up. It allows you to put a lot of pressure on their wraith camp just because you have vision over there, and you can try to do it safely. Now our team is pinging for Dragon. We do have a pink ward down, but their team seems to be aware of this. Their team seems to be aware that we're going after this. Now in comes Leona initiation by Aponcat, and we're going after Kog'Maw right there. There's going to be the kill by Varus Nox. So, Morgana is down here though, and Blim Nergath, the Janna player, is also here. So I'm going to try to come into the fight right here. I'm going to dash in and go for the kill, but I miss all my skill shots, and the rest of the team gets the kill on Janna, so I don't even get an assist there. I was sort of like, blah. And then I had to just waste my last proc of Spirit Rush. But we are going to get this dragon right here, and it looks like the team didn't really need me. I probably could have gotten over to that fight just a little bit sooner. So we're able to take this dragon, and a match that was pretty close. It was 4-3 in our favor before. Now we did have a farming edge, but it was only 4-3 in kills. But with those 2 kills right there and that dragon, this game has really swung in favor of our team. So that was really one of the big plays of the game in looking at this one, where we started to get a big lead above just our farming advantage. We were also able to chase Morgana out of mid, so now I'm going to be just free here to sit and free farm this lane until Morgana gets back here and until she's able to put pressure on me. Unfortunately, I'm missing a lot of these minion kills, which really should not be happening. If you're just by yourself in a lane, you really should get pretty much every minion kill, just because it's really easy to farm a lane if there's no pressure on you. Anyway, let's just take a quick check at what's going on in other lanes. The Tamos core is up against all the Master in top lane. Tamos Core's Poppy is on 131, and all the Master's Grog is on 106, and that's big edge Poppy. You never want Poppy getting farmed, because Poppy is devastating once she manages to get farmed. We've actually had sort of a little resurgence of Poppy interest after nobody played her forever, due to some guides that have recently been published on various websites about Poppy. Anyway, in bottom lane, Varus is 202 with 109 minion kills. He is slightly ahead of farm of Kog'Maw. More minion kills and more champion kills, giving him a bit of an edge right there. Now, on my trip back to base, I wanted to buy one Doran's ring, but I accidentally clicked again and bought a second one, which was a little bit silly. I wanted 2 Doran's rings. I really didn't want 3 Doran's rings. I didn't want to sink that much gold into Doran's rings. So I wanted 2. I didn't want 3, but I just clicked on it, and oh well. A little bit silly. There is a fight going on down here. Can't see the health bars. Varus is going to score a kill there. He's going to flash over the Morgana ultimate. Now I'm trying to come down here, trying to get into the fight. Varus and a Pomecat are going to flash over the wall and try to get out here, but a Morg binding is going in. So now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to miss that charm, unfortunately. Then I'm going to miss the orb right here. Again, Ahri skill shot based. If you can't hit skill shots, you are in trouble. But right here now, Malphite's going to ult in here, and now I need to use my ult for repositioning. Going to dodge the Morg binding with ultimate. There's the orb onto Andrew. I'm going to turn on my need to turn on my Foxfire here. It would be hitting someone. Don't know why I'm using it. I still have my ult up. Now it's finally cooled down, and right here I'm going to use Foxfire and Orb, and that's going to get a kill on Andrew CH. It really just, they were never really focusing on me. They were really locked into a Sullla that whole fight. Now Varus has gone back to base and healed. Iago's chase is too far. There's the charm. There's the Orb. There's the Foxfire. And that's going to be a second kill right there. So a nice job by us. Our Sullla really kind of baited Iago into that chase right there. And then it was just a matter of landing the charm, which I did, then tossing out the Orb and the Foxfire. And that was relatively easy to get. Varus, of course, dashing in and getting the silence as well. So we were able to combine pretty well on that kill. And now I'm actually ahead 4-1, and I'm in very comfortable shape right now because I'm going to be able to buy a lot more ability power when I get back to base right here. So like I said, I'm in good shape. I'm going to toss down the ward here because I want to continue farming their jungle, and I want to have vision right here on them in case they come and try to kill me. And I am going to take all these wraiths because I'm expecting to come back here and take wraiths again. One thing I like to do is, if I'm going in the enemy jungle, if you're going to go all the way to steal their wolves, I like to leave one wolf. But oftentimes in mid, I like to take all the wraiths because I'm planning on going back and stealing their wraiths again. I mean, it obviously depends on circumstance, but usually I'm going to be taking the wraiths if at all possible. Anyway, I'm just grabbing blue buff here, and from here we're going to move on and continue and just see, really see where we want to go from next. We're in a very strong position right now. I'm sitting, once again, I'm sort of tied with Varus Nox for, or no, actually I'm tied with the Tamos core. Look at this. I thought that, I just assumed it was Varus who had the most farm, and this time it was the Tamos core, so apologies right there. But I did get off some nice harass on Iago right there, and remember, he doesn't have the tower here, so he's a little bit vulnerable. He's going to have to back off, but he looks like he's not in too much danger from Trundle right there. Again, yeah, Varus has 3 champion kills. He actually doesn't have quite as much farm, and that probably has to do with the fact that he is playing as a melee champ right there. Anyway, they killed our pink ward here at Dragon, but look what a Pwnekat's going to do. He's going to drop another pink ward, and then together we're going to kill their pink ward. So, ward wars over here at Dragon. I was waiting in the brush. I wanted to try to toss my charm onto their jungler, Andrew, but wasn't able to get that. However, a Berlimnagrath coming out here. He's trying to re-pink ward that again, but Pwnekat's going to get the initiation. I'm going to miss all my skill shots here, but boop! Right there, auto attack is going to get the kill. So this battle over this pink ward right here, Berlimnagrath trying to do the right thing, trying to clear the ward, but it just wasn't safe right there, and we're able to burst him down. Again, I actually missed pretty much every skill shot there, but the damage from my Spirit Rush was enough. I'm going to miss the charm once again right there on Andrew, and he's going to flash out. That's going to allow him to get away. But look what we're doing once again. Their blue buff is up, and we're coming in here to contest it. Over here, Varus is engaging on Archville. Archville's going to blink over the wall. Here comes Morgana. I'm going to charm Morgana out of her ultimate. I'm not sure if that interrupts it. It may have. Iago's going to flash over the wall, but that Ignite is ticking on him, and that's going to get the kill right here. Now we're going after Archville, and look at that Leona ultimate. Really nicely done. All we have to do is jump in here and finish this off. He's so low. Oh, no. So no, not going to get that. And afterwards I said, you know what, I really probably should have just flashed and gotten the last hit on there. I could have flashed and tossed my orb, and I think that would have gotten it. So unfortunately wasn't able to get that, but in the fighting, I believe I think we went 2 for 0. If you count Belimnergath, it was 3 for 0, but we clearly came out on top in that fight, and we're able to take their blue. I'm able to take their blue once again and get it onto me. So again, that's just going to put me further ahead. And this is really something you should look to do if you have the advantage. Go and take their blue buff. It's just, it wrecks middle lanes so hard if you go and take their blue over and over again. And again, look what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to steal their wraiths once again. And again, I've said this before in other videos, but when you're playing AP mid, if you get ahead, or if you can just do so safely, you want to take their wraiths over and over again. Do your race, then do their race. Then do your race, then do their race. And if you can just keep taking those camps over and over again, it just puts you so far ahead in terms of farm. Oftentimes, you want to try to do their wraith camp more often if possible, because you don't want to steal, you don't want to steal your own jungler's wraiths. But in this game, I noticed that Sullla wasn't really doing wraiths that much, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to start taking them then, since he doesn't really seem to be doing our wraith camp that much. Anyway, again, because I bought the triple Dorans, I decided I'd go for the death cap, picking up the needlessly large rod for a death cap. I decided I'd go for that first instead of going for a Rhyelize, which is the other sort of key item on Ahri. Now right here, we see them doing Dragon. We get a great initiation from a Pwncat. Notice how he totally split up the rest of their team, and now Belimnergath is doomed. Even though Janna has great escapability, there's no way he's getting out of this. I'm not going to waste my ult. We have this kill easily. Not going to waste my ult. I mean, it's a relatively short cooldown, but I'd still rather have it up for the next 70 seconds. Like, we didn't need me to ult there to get that kill. Our team had it well in hand. So now when we do this team fight, my ult is still up, and let's see. All right, Spirit Rush in, and oh, right into the wall, so that's not going to work. But now, here we go. There's the charm onto Andrew. I'm going to hit on the Spirit Fire, and then right there, I'm going to dash after it. Varus is going to get the kill, and we actually went 3-0 in that particular exchange, if you count Belimnergath again. So again, just pulling further ahead in these team fights, and there, I think that was reasonably well done. Could have been better done, but reasonably well done right there. And now the rest of our team is going to back off and take this dragon while I continue to put pressure on the mid. I still have this blue buff. I can just spam my skills, and look at the poke right there. Again, this skill's on a very short cooldown. It's only on a 5-second cooldown with blue, so I can just keep spamming, and I'm just going to keep poking away at Eaglo. Ideally, I'm not going to get dark-minded like that, but I'm going to try to just poke away, and even with the black shield, getting in some pretty good damage. I've also nearly got my death cap. And now this is a great pillar. Unfortunately, I totally whiff on the charm right here, and Belimnergath is going to ult us back in a way, and wow, that was a really bad charm to miss. Would have been an easy kill right there. So, again, still trying to learn Ahri a little bit better, but did miss that one. Still, we are able to force the ultimate out of Belimnergath. And what am I going to do once again? That's right, go take wraiths. Just keep taking these wraiths. And again, our wraiths are back up again too. I can go do that. But I mean, if you look at the farming totals, notice how I'm right at 200. And even though Eaglo has been in mid most of the game, he's only at 124. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I've been just farming the neutral camps. So, sort of over and over again, keep taking the neutral camps. Now, it's not just that. I've farmed a little bit better in mid as well, but a lot of it does have to do with, taking this camp. And, look at that poke right there. Boom. That's a lot of damage for a skill that's on a short cooldown and gives you such good poke. Anyway, my blue's up again, so let's come over and grab this. Andrew is trying to gank top, but it's well worded, and Atomic Core has been doing a nice job of wording. He now has his Trinity Force, and that means it is officially very, very scary time. You do not want Poppy to be grabbing that Trinity Force. He only has the 1 kill, but his farm has been exceptional on top lane. 208, very, very good for this point in time in the game. I mean, it could always be higher, but this is pretty good. I mean, if you can be topping the 200 minion mark right after the 25-minute mark, you're in good shape. I mean, you can do better in some circumstances. I've actually seen I've actually seen people hit 300 at this point in time before, but you're just not going to do that very often. Anyway, now we're trying to gank all the master, the Gragas player here in top lane. So here comes Trundle. Here I come in. I do have my ult up. I have all my stuff. I'm going to use Foxfire, and right there, all the master's going to use his dash, and he's going to flash out, and that's actually a pretty nice escape. He did have to use his flash, but it was not a bad escape right there. And Trundle, Sullla is even going to say nice juke. I mean, he did have to use flash, let's be clear, but hey, he escaped, so not bad at all. And now that I have enough gold to pick up my death cap, I'm going to go back and I'm going to grab that. Now, at this stage in the match, let's just take stock of the situation. We have a major edge in gold. We're ahead in champion kills 15-4. We've taken both dragons. We have more farm in terms of minion kills. We have a definite edge in global gold. We've been invading and denying their blue repeatedly. We only have one tower down though. So what are our goals at this point in time in the game? Well, what we want to do is start applying pressure to lanes. We want to start looking to group up, looking to take team objectives. We want to start trying to take towers. These outer towers here in top and bottom should be pretty easy for us to get. So we want to be looking to group up, start to push those towers, and then start to put pressure on their team. We probably want to wait until Dragon's up, do Dragon again when it's next up, and then probably look to force a Baron fight. Just because we're in such a strong position, it makes sense for us to try to force them into places where they have to fight us out away from their defenses. So like out away from their towers. We want to try to suck them into fights where they're not at their towers. Now right here, I'm going to use the Curseless Trundle to bait this fight. I'm going to get binded here, and they're going to assume it's Trundle who got binded. So we're going to try to encourage this right here. I'm actually going to charm Andrew CH, and right here, he's going to ult in, and you know what? As much as I love Jungle Malphite, that was a mistake. Black Shield or no, I have way too much damage. Gonna get bursted down. And then look at that Leona ultimate from a Ponecat. Just really, really great initiation there with that Solar Flare ultimate. And then right into the Zenith Blade. So we're gonna go 2-0 right there. And I just think that I'm pretty sure they thought it was only Trundle there. And when they ran into Ahri and Leona, I think that just caught them off guard. So we just went 2-0 and we killed their jungler. So no smite. That means we are free to go in here and force this Baron fight. Oh, poor Andrew. Man, that was awful. I didn't even see this during the game. But yeah, I have to imagine that they did not know that we were there, and we were just able to force a fight with numbers. I was able to use all my skills. I scored 1 kill, and then a Ursula was able to get the other. That is not a good smite, by the way. Baron actually got down to 2 HP, if you can believe it. So an early smite right there, and wow, if they had been there, that could have been stolen so easily. But fortunately, it was a free Baron. It was not contested, and we're able to take that one with no real problems whatsoever. And at this point, you know, we're really in the driver's seat. It's just up to us to, you know, group together and push here. Varus has been farming that bottom lane. He's gotten his score up, his minion score up considerably while we've been off fighting in other lanes. So yeah, really at this point we need to just group up and look to push lanes. Looks like we're gonna get top tower very soon right now. It's quite low. Anyway, here I am just poking with the enemy team. And by the way, did you see how much more damage I did on the way back? Again, remember her orb deals magic damage on the way out, but then it deals true damage on the way back. So armor, magic resist don't mean anything on the way back because that's true damage, and it can't be blocked by resistances. Anyway, in top, we're able to get a kill on Gragas. Nice job, Atomos Core. We got the tower up there. We got the tower in bot. So now we're kind of doing a split push here, which was a little bit unintentional. We weren't really planning to split push here, but it's just Atomos Core is in top. I'm in mid. Varus is in bottom. And right here, now notice they've all shifted over to bottom. They've all shifted over to bot to deal with Varus Nox's push. So now Ursula and I can push on this mid tower because, along with a Ponecat, because there's really only a couple of us here. If we can get the initiation right, we could even look to dive that. But nope, a Ponecat's going to get binded there instead. But right there, I do hit the charm on Iago, and right there, going to dash in. Now I'm going to look to focus on Andrew, and watch this, the tower is shooting at me, and I have no idea the tower is shooting at me. And at this point, I was like, oh no, the tower! Oh, wow. And that was a really bad death. I think that was even worse than the death when I got ganked earlier and walked into the Dark Binding. So, yeah, that team fight, I mean, we did the team fight beautifully. I hit the charm to get the initiation on Morgana, and then the rest of the team was able to jump in. I used all my skills. I got a lot of damage off, and look what was the killer. 82% damage from the tower. Yeah, 7%, 1%, 10%, 82%. So, yes, do not stand there and tank the entire tower. I just did not realize in the confusion that it was shooting at me, so blah. But at least I didn't have an oracle or anything like that. So yes, that was really stupid. And the other thing is, if I had gone for Rylai's first, if I had extra health, then I probably would have survived that. But on the downside, I wouldn't have dealt as much damage because I wouldn't have had Rabadon's death cap. So you win some, you lose some. Anyway, this shouldn't make that big of a difference. We're still in really good shape, and we just got bottom tower, and we also got middle tower. And meanwhile, up here, Ursula and Atomos Core are pushing away on this top tower. And I believe that, no, they haven't gotten this one low yet, but they are putting pressure on it. And most of the enemy team, the purple team, was down in bottom lane. So they're just going to continue putting pressure on this, and I believe that they actually do get this tower, if I remember the game right. Yeah, this is a little bit dangerous, but they're going to toss down the pillar right there, and there it goes. So they are, in fact, going to get that tower. Meanwhile, I'm just going to take blue buff, and Varus is actually engaged in soloing Dragon right now. So yeah, I mean at this point, has our Baron timed out? No, everyone else still has Baron, so still going to be up a little bit longer. But at this point, it's really just about us, you know, joining together as a team, grouping up, and looking to get into their base. We still need to get into their base because we haven't gotten any inhibs. But at this point, that feels like it's just a matter of time until we're able to do that. In fact, their team's going to fail a surrender vote there. They only needed one more vote there. in order to finish off the game and take a surrender. But we're quite strong at this point in time. Like I said, I'm building towards Rylai's Crystal Scepter, a great item on Ahri because Ahri does a lot of kiting. With the use of her ult, she can kite really hard. By the way, Atomos Core tried to dive their team 1v5 right there, which you can do as Poppy, by the way. And at this point, I was like, wait, why are we chasing their whole team? There's only 3 of us here. Why are we chasing into a 3v5? Let's just back and get out of here because Varus is down here doing red. So that was a little bit silly. That was just, you know, sort of a goofy moment right there. No real reason to do that. So at this point, we just want to back off. We don't really want to, even though we're ahead, we don't really want to force like 3v5 engagements. Not really that smart. Not really in our best interest to fight. That's sort of how you can throw a game. So a Pomecat is right here. I'm going to hit the Charm on Andrew and getting some pretty good poke right here now. But again, I just don't really want to use all my skills because I really don't want to fight this. Again, it is a 2v3 right here. And even though we're ahead, it's just not a really good, you know, not a really good fight to pick. So I'm more interested in just poking right now. I'm still just sitting there with my ult ready to dash away as needed. You know, see, Gragas is here too, so it's really a 2v4 right now. And even though Pongcat was playing kind of aggressive, I was like, you know, we really don't want to pick a fight right here. Really should just wait until the rest of our team gets here. Varus is on his way. I guess the Atomos Core is still coming back. But like I said, you don't. I mean, even when we are ahead, but we don't want to get too crazy. Although, wow, look at that poke. Yes, Ahri with 421 AP does deal a lot of damage against a team with very little magic resist. Andrew has some magic resist. Nobody else really has any. So that's why I'm dealing so much damage, because everybody else there really has like no MR whatsoever. And of course, deal true damage on the return shot of that orb. Anyway, so right now we have 3 of us, about to be 4 of us. A Ursula is running up here, pushing in mid. Atomos is clearing top. And we are quite stronger than their team. Now, right around this point in time, Varus said, if you can just catch out Kog'Maw, you know, with a charm, then we'll be able to burst him down. And he's really the one who's doing the most damage. He has the Blood Razor, which is not the greatest item on Kog'Maw, but he is really a dangerous high priority target. I would say it's really Kog'Maw and Morgana are the 2 targets we want to focus right now. Yes, Gragas has the Rylai's, but I don't know, he just didn't feel that scary in this game. So really want to try to catch out Kog'Maw or Morgana if at all possible. And so that's what I was looking to do with my charm right here. I was just looking, and I see Kog, and I'm like, okay, there's the pillar. Boom, I'm going to use my ult. There's the charm. And even though that Leona ult's going to miss, it's going to allow us to burst him down. Varus is going to get the kill, but I did get the initial charm. And now right here, I'm trying to use my ult to reposition in the teamfight. It's going to keep dodging away. There is Andrew going to get caught right there. Gragas is charging into the middle of us. I'm going to back out just a little bit. And now we're going to continue chasing onto this fight right here. That orb is going to hit, and we're going to get that kill as well. So we've actually gone 4 for 1 in that particular fight. And Varus actually scored a quadra kill right there. I should have mentioned that in the fighting. He wanted that pentakill so badly, but nope. Eaglo says, no way, you are not getting a pentakill on me. And Varus says, you are me. So Varus with the quadra kill right here, very, very impressive. It's actually his first death, and he only died because he was just diving to try to get that pentakill. But nope, not able to get it right there. And only going to have to be content with the quadra kill in this game. So sorry, Varus. You're just going to have to stop right there. Now, meanwhile, we are going to take middle tower and inhib, getting a little bit of pressure in on that top tower. I thought we might be able to get this tower right here, but their team is reviving, and I'm going to have to escape. I do have my Spirit Rush about to come off cooldown, so I can get out. I was relatively safe right there, even though a lot of their team was nearby. And now that they've all revived, it's like, oh, well, it's time to get out of here. 3,500 gold. Yeah, let's go buy some stuff and just look to finish this off on another push. Well, I guess I wanted the Wraith camp here. I mean, it did have the gold bonus, right? You can see the little gold around him. Well, maybe not. It's harder to see on the winter map, but it did have the stacked up gold bonus. Okay, so now it's time to buy and then do Baron and then finish the game. And that's pretty much the modus operandi going forward from right here. I want that Rylai's, and what am I going to do here? 1,600 gold. I think I'm just going to, oh no, I'm going to sell the Dorans. I think I pick up a Blasting Wand here and then double pot, I believe is what I'm going to do. Yeah, and there's the double pot right there. So extra health, extra ability power. Here, I'll highlight it because it doesn't show up in the interface. There we go. I'm level 18, so 235 health. And then 40 ability power. So now I've got 2,600 health, not a lot. Notice I still have no MR whatsoever, so I am very much glass cannon, but I do have a decent amount of health, and not a lot, but decent. I'm not sitting on, you know, say 2,000. 2,600 is significantly more than 2,000. And I have a lot of ability power. I have 616 ability power. So just to highlight my skills, look how much damage the orb does. If you hit both procs, going out and going back, let's see, that's 400 and then another 280, so that's, what is that, almost 700 damage total. Foxfire, Foxfire can deal up to, wow, max damage 320 plus 462. That's a lot of damage. The Charm doesn't really deal much damage. The ult doesn't really deal that much damage either. It's mostly about your Q and your W. Ult's more about repositioning than anything else. Anyway, I guess it does deal more damage than you think, because you do fire out 3 bolts. So I guess that is 400 times 3. So yeah, that's actually more than I thought. Anyway, so now we have Baron. Now it's even more ridiculous, 670 ability power, because Baron gives AP. And now it's just a matter of us chasing in. And again, they have no towers here mid, so all we have to do is just get an initial engage. And we just need someone to jump in, and we're going to have a Tomos Core lead the way. There goes the Poppy ult. Using the ult onto Kog'Maw right there. Going to burst down. I'm going to dash in. I'm going to dash in and just use my stuff. And wow, yes, I am dealing a lot of damage right here. Andrew actually gets a nice initiation right there. Unfortunately, their team is just pretty far behind. That is a great Leona ultimate as well. It hit 3 members of their team and got the stun. Unfortunately, our Trundle player, Sullla, gets caught a little bit too far forward. And right now, Andrew's going to chase too far forward. He's going to get stunned by the Zenith Blade. I'm still missing most of my skill shots, but at some point, I am going to start hitting them right here. Andrew is still hanging around right there. I'm going to use the Foxfire, and then finally going to hit on that Orb of Destruction, or Deception, excuse me, Orb of Deception. Finally going to hit on that. We're going to get the kill, and while we're here, we'll go ahead and take the tower, take the inhib, and this is pretty much GG at this point in time, because there's 5 of us here, or 4 of us here in the base. We did lose a Sullla. There's 4 of us here against only 2 members of the enemy team, and we've got a lot of crowd control that we can use on their team. So we're going to try to get this tower first. We just need to catch someone out, and right here, I'm going to hit the Charm onto Eaglo. Leona going to dash in, and yep, that's another kill. And then Varus is going to just explode poor All the Master. Just absolutely blow him up. By the way, check out how much AD Varus has. Yeah, 451. Double Bloodthirsters, Last Whisper, and Infinity Edge. I wouldn't say that's the most balanced build in the world, but my god, he deals a lot of damage. And it's still going up as he farms with his Bloodthirster. 461 now, as he continues to kill minions and get those Bloodthirsters stacked up. Anyway, their team doing their best, but this is pretty much, it's over. And I'm going to Charm Janna right there. That's going to mean another kill for us. And now we're diving on to Andrew. Are we going to get this kill? Nope. We're not going to get it. He's going to escape, make it back into the fountain. And that's going to be it. So there you go. Like I said, had requests for an Ahri game, and think that this was a pretty useful demonstration of how to play her. Now let's wrap this one up and look at the stats. Here we go on the endgame screen. Our team probably should have finished that one off a little bit sooner considering how far we were ahead, but in the end we were able to push through and win and take that one. In this game it looked like all of our solo lanes ended up winning pretty solidly. I was able to win in mid, Atomos Core was able to win in top, and Varus Nox was able to win in bottom lane, and just some nice all-around play from our team. Pwncat support Leona had a very nice game. I think I mentioned this during the cast of the game, but he had some great initiations with his ultimate and also with his Zenith Blade. And Leona, I mean, not a bad champ if you can, if you need crowd control on the team. She's kind of a high skill cap support, but I've played her a bit, and she actually was played quite a bit in the IEM Hanover tournament all this week, so it looks like Leona getting a little bit of love. Now, as far as Ahri goes, in this game I was able to get enough gold to complete all of her key items: Sork Shoes, Death Cap, Hextech Revolver, into Will of the Ancients, and Rylai's in some order. Again, I haven't played Ahri enough to say what precisely the order to get these in, but it seems like what most people do is usually get 2 Doran's Rings, get a Hextech Revolver, and then either go for Rylai's then, or upgrade the Hextech into Will of the Ancients, and then get Death Cap as sort of a last item a little bit later on. But I had enough gold that I didn't really have to pick and choose, fortunately, in this game. So right on just below 300 minion kills and 10 champion kills will give you a lot of gold and allow you to complete a lot of really nice items. Anyway, as far as the other team went, I think they did an okay job. They just got a little bit outplayed in some of the lanes. I thought that the Eaglo's Morgana played pretty decently, but he just unfortunately fell behind, and in the end, the fact that we were taking those dragons and the fact that we were able to invade and steal their blue buff ended up being the difference. We were just able to snowball out ahead on global gold, start taking those barons, and at that point we were just too far ahead for them to really do that much on. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, we'll be back to the normal schedule soon. We'll be doing the normal Tuesday night YouTube event this week, unless something comes up unexpectedly, but I would expect to have it. So once again, thanks for all your support. I hope some of you had the chance to watch some of the professionals play this weekend, and if not, I just hope you enjoyed this cast and hope that you enjoyed seeing a little bit of Ahri's gameplay. Until next time, see you later guys, and I hope you have a good week.